Hey, what's up, you guys? So today's stream is going to be another round of my thoughts, and what I have done is in the description, I have pretty much written the way that I intend to break this stream down. And honestly, the first order of business, I guess, has to be explaining the title of this video a little bit, where I say that it's going to involve some risk, and it's because I don't know if you can tell, but I got sick as hell. And I have been just coughing and sneezing and coughing and sneezing seemingly incessantly, which I'm surprised I'm doing so well right now. But it all started between yesterday and the day before, but more so last night. And I don't know what it is, but everyone around me has been getting sick just randomly. Like, some people have migraines, some people have like cold like symptoms and all that. So I'm so glad that this is behind the screen and you guys are not present, because this would be a terrible situation to be in. But, anyways, I don't let that stop me. I still went to work, and fortunately, I was working the office shift, which I like to call it the cave, because I'm pretty much all by myself. And but yeah, honestly, I sound worse than I really feel now that I think about it. But apparently, I was sounding really, really bad because all those around me were kind of concerned, and I'm like, I promise you that I feel okay. Like, today, I couldn't tell whether I was cold or hot. Like, right now, I feel pretty warm. But when I was taking a nap and I woke up from it, I was freezing. And I actually had like a comforter over me. So whatever it is, I'm sure my body is taking care of it. But it just sucks because the worst part of it was between last night and the morning today, which was, you know, that feeling when you're starting to get sick and you feel something like in the back of your throat, like on the roof or something, and then anything that you drink, it feels like, the best way to describe it is swallowing rusty knives. That's just the best way to describe it. And again, honestly, I feel better than I have been in the past, uh, I guess, 36 ish hours. But I just like to talk about it because no symptom, no disease is ever the same. So I don't know what I have, but whatever it is, my body can deal with it. I'm not worried about it. So, yeah. Again, this is going to be one of those random streams. I don't want to really have a full topic to break down because I just really have not um, thought about any specific topic despite having many. But Knight says he thinks I might have strep. Honestly, I'm not even sure what the symptoms of that are. Honestly, this feels like, what this reminds me of the most is like a, nah, it's not the flu. It's definitely not the flu. But it's definitely involving like sinusitis. I'm sure about that one. Because my nose just sucks all the time. And anytime the spring comes around, I just don't ever do well with my respiratory system. But, anyways, uh, so I'm going to just start rambling on the stuff that I made notes of that I would just talk about. And hey, Jordan, it's good to see you. I feel like I haven't caught up with you in a while. Like a super sore throat plus Millie Reaver like symptoms. Huh. Well, sounds about right, I guess, but honestly, it's kind of hard to tell. And my computer, of course, is being weird and probably not set up right, but whatever. I don't need it. I just wanted to read comments from it so I don't lag my phone and ruin it. Okay, so the first topic that I wanted to talk about occurred to me a while back, but now that it's a little relevant to me, I want to discuss it, and that is demonetization by YouTube a form of censorship? And the reason I bring that up is because lately YouTube has not, it doesn't seem to decide whether or not it wants to monetize or demonetize my videos. And Like the one that I made about food yesterday, it decided to demonetize it, and I'm like, why? There is nothing inappropriate going on. There is no music in it that's copyrighted or something. I'm not saying anything bad as far as I know. And then, of course, the social ones where I talk about my opinions and say the modeling industry and all that, all of those got demonetized. The one in which I was breaking down a topic about the lies that women tell men, that one, the second part got demonetized, the one that's 2 hours long. And honestly, the funny thing about that one is that it kept going back and forth. One day it would be monetized, another day it would be demonetized, another day it would be monetized for a couple of hours, then it would be demonetized for like 3 days, then it would go back to being monetized, and then it now it's settled on being demonetized. And honestly, because this is not my full-time job, because this is not really my primary source of income. In fact, this is something that I even forget that is potentially a source of income for me, because I really earn money through here very, 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 very slowly. And honestly, I have only gotten paid through this thing once, and I have had this thing for 2 years, so you get an idea of what my progress in here is like. but but yeah, honestly, when I think about it, I want to say that it is a form of censorship because, of course, if you're trying to make money on a platform, you are going to try to abide by the rules so that you can benefit from it and make your earnings and whatever. And of course, there is some stuff that if you don't meet the criteria of what advertisers find suitable and whatnot, then you do not make a proper representation of their brand and company. So, in a sense, if you are all about making that dollar, then of course you will be kept away from expressing your opinions and voicing stuff the way you want to. But for me, honestly, even if this were my primary source of income, I would not be afraid of speaking my mind the way I mean to, because I feel like that's me being not close to reality. I don't like to be censored. Like, I like to express my thoughts, and I know that anything that you say can have consequences, but the way I live my life is I am confident. I know that the moment will come when I might make a mistake. And when I make a mistake, what I like to do is just own it. But I am not going to stop doing what I like to do and express my beliefs just because I'm trying to make money. So it really depends on how you look at it, and I guess how cynical you are, because I can also say that no, it's not a form of censorship. It's just that people just like companies have their values, and although they're not perfect, like, every company at any given time somewhere, one of their facilities is committing many infractions. So you see what I mean? I guess it depends on you personally. If you really do not want to have your image affected, then I guess you would really limit what you say. But for me, it's very easy to say that it is a form of censorship. It's just indirect. It's not, when you think of censorship, at least for me, you think of it in a like broader scale, which is your right to speak. You cannot be denied your right to speak, especially in this country. You have the free speech stuff going on. So why should there be consequences attached to your free speech? But honestly, because someone, an individual who runs a company, has power and you need from them to make your ends meet, then of course it is an indirect form of censorship. But honestly, I don't like to dwell on that, because if my work is good enough, then my reward for it will come one way or another. And if the platform itself does not want to support me, I know someone out there is going to want to support me. See what I mean? So it's kind of tricky. I don't want to just definitively say yes, it is censorship, because I don't think that's ultimately the like the deliberate act with they don't they don't just demonetize you to indirectly tell you you can't talk about it. It's just that companies have their values, or at least they pretend to have their values, and if you don't represent them, then they just don't fund you, which they have a right to do that. But honestly, I think I would not be irritated about it if I knew that companies were perfect. Like, if only we could say, ah, yeah, your integrity is absolutely um, perfect, it's spotless, it's squeaky clean, then okay. Then I have to do what it takes to match your integrity. But when I know that companies are not all that, you cannot convince me that you are representing values properly. So that's the part of me that makes me be 50-50 on this, but if I think of it on a grand scale, then yeah, it is a form of censorship, and it also doesn't help that I normally don't trust companies or anyone in a position of power. I typically do not trust them. So that's going to make me have a bias for saying yes, it is a form of censorship. But anyways, I might be wrong. So you guys let me know what you think. And it looks like I'm finally able to load my life here to read your comments. And I see White Knight says hi. Jordan says hi. Like that's hello, buddy from Baltimore. Love your mind and strength. Thanks a lot. That's all they make nowadays. Music videos, symbols, Illuminati owns YouTube. Happy Wednesday, everybody. God bless. Happy Wednesday, Jordan. Wait. Bless everyone back to you are doing a fantastic making YouTube videos. I appreciate that. Thank you. Bless you. Happy Wednesday. You do not sell out or try to sell your soul. Oh, absolutely not. Like, I mean, when I think about it, sometimes I want to be tough on myself and be like, no, I am going to make I'm going to make a decision about my channel and take a different direction and focus about making money and this and that. But when I think about it, the way I started this channel, I had a vision for it, and honestly, I didn't even know that I would ever get any kind of a following. But but although I absolutely wish that my life was different, like me having my own schedule, working for myself, and not having to be on my feet for so long, and just having a better life overall. I don't really feel like I need to keep asking for so much because I think I have the essentials that do fulfill me, which is, um, well, except for today, I am healthy, I have a home, I have all the stuff that I need. Basically, I'm satisfied. And the only part that I need a little bit of more work to do is my personal life, but it's all right. Stuff will get better at some point, but yeah, when it comes to the grand scheme of things, I'm pretty happy with the kind of life that I'm living. So why would I want to complicate that and make it tougher for myself? So no, you guys can expect, if you subscribe to me for my thoughts and my opinion, you can count on me not ever changing that. What I may do is alternate my content a little bit. Like sometimes I might do an actual vlog where I go out there and I may show you something, or when I film about food, just to switch things up. Because way back in the day, like a year ago, I started experimenting on that and it was fun. But my favorite thing to do is storytelling. So this is what this channel is about. Why would I want to get sidetracked from that? So, but anyways, it works for me, and I'm just happy with the way I'm doing things. It probably means that I will never see success on this platform in like an exaggerated way, but if it doesn't happen, then good, because I feel like I could not handle that. But if it does happen, then I intend to handle that responsibly. Oh my god. Okay. Cosmic Kirby says, "The God bless. Greetings. Illuminati love control people minds. They don't like people speaking their minds like Tupac and Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Michael Jackson, and more. They're gonna get blocked, Christian people. You're welcome. Telling yourself never worth it. Hold on. Let me scroll the thing. You're blessed, Zamri. People in the Illuminati have stated over and over that people make contracts with the devil and people sell their souls. Some people don't believe it, but why so many say or joke about it? And why do so many people write about it, to be honest? When it comes to that type of thing, I I feel like the term Illuminati is to really, really, really sum it up, but I think that it tries to encompass everything that has to do with the weird stuff that happens among the elite. But of course, look, if only we had access to every single thing that happens in life. Imagine that every single person's deeds and acts just get reported and recorded and written about, posted about somehow. There is a lot happening in this planet that we're absolutely unaware of. So I think that that's part of the of when I think of the term Illuminati, I like to think of that too. It's like you're illuminating the stuff that you don't really get to see or perceive because you're not part of the society that has access to all this information. You see what I mean? So of course, I know that it's more complex than that, but to break it down, to make it simple for me, that's what I like. That's the way I like to look at it. It's like, okay, take something really, really, really complicated and just highlight the most messed up things and make it presentable. But yeah, there's a lot of dark stuff going on in the world. Just it's crazy. Illuminati kills so many celebrities, they will control everybody, money, a big brother, Lucifer, Mince, Light, etc. So that is part of the Illuminati. They are the devil worshippers posing as good people. But yeah, you guys, when it comes to my opinion on demonetization, that's all that I have to say. And then when it comes to Illuminati stuff, I like to watch conspiracy theory videos because I think that those are very, very thought inducing. But yeah, that's all that I have to say on that one. And then the next thing I'm going to talk about is just a random thought of every time I go to a restaurant that you have a waiter and everything. Is it just me, or does this happen to you guys too? Which is, you usually when you're drinking something or you are in the middle of chewing something, that's when the freaking waiter or waitress decides to swing by, and then you actually need to tell them that you need something, but then because you're so like occupied, you cannot tell them. So, what I like to do is whoever I'm with, I just tell like my mom, I'm like, Mom, when she comes over, could you please tell her that I need more napkins? Because I'm sure that I'm going to be chewing on something. And lo and behold, it always happens. So I hope that you guys say that that happens to you too, because I feel like it only happens to me. Because usually, whoever's accompanying me can talk to the waiter. Or maybe they're watching me unconsciously and they see me eating and chewing and all that, so they're like, let me not be rude and not be occupied. It's like, I don't know. Or maybe the waiter themselves are like trolling me. Maybe the places that I frequent, they know what I'm needy about. So they're like, oh, I'm going to wait until she's busy so she can't tell me anything. And all she can do is nod at me, you know? But yeah, I'm a slow eater because no matter how slow I eat or how like small bites I take, my acid reflux just gets out of control. So I just try to minimize the disgrace, but at the end of the day, it always happens like that. Uh, Look at the hand symbols every doing everyone take get her as a Terminator or more. Yes, they do. As every the waiter and waitress happens all the time. Actually, to mostly everyone could take smaller bites. Nurses do the same thing. Most are so lazy with their jobs. You know what? When my mom had surgery last year, the nurses were actually pretty nice and responsive. I don't know if it's the facility that I was in, but that experience went a whole lot better because in the past, when I was a kid and other family members were getting procedures done and all that, it was the most miserable time in life. I don't know if it was, I've often felt like it was as bad for us um, as their guests than just as bad as for the patient when it comes to the experience. It's just stressful. But apparently, hospitals are just taking better care of that. Ooh, this next one is going to be interesting. And this is how people who have unsubscribed and that they tell me that they have unsubscribed made me feel. And the response to that is, I don't feel any different. Oftentimes, the one that I vividly remember was someone was mad at me. This was someone who actually followed me day to day, like they were here on the stream. They would be here all the time, anytime that I was online, pretty much, which made me wonder, does this person ever sleep? But, anyways, this person proceeded to tell me that they're going to unsubscribe because I forget which video this was, but I know that it had something to do about race, and I guess this person has an inclination for a specific race, and then because that race flows through my veins, they apparently wanted for me to lean on that as well, like have an inclination for that specific race, and I'm like, I mean, it is what it is. My life experience is my life experience. You cannot expect for it to mold to yours. Like, I cannot be a representative of your values because my values are my personal independent values and I have altered them to suit me. If you find them relatable, that's great. But if you don't, then you don't have to agree with me. But the thing of it is that sometimes I feel like people try to psychologically mess with you by threatening you to unsubscribe or to say that they're unsubscribing and to make you feel like down about your opinion or something. And I'm like, no, if you're subscribed to me, I hope that it is because you genuinely are interested and care on what I have to say about what I have to say. But I did not tell you subscribe to me. I did not tell you to follow me. This is not a commitment at all. So when someone tells me that they have unsubscribed and that they want nothing to do with me, I'm like, as a person who is severely introverted and socially awkward and all that, I love that. That's one less person to greet. If I knew this person face to face, that's what I would tell them. Oh, excellent. That means I don't have to bother greeting you. But of course, I'm not that dramatic. But what I mean by that is you do what you gotta do. You don't have to notify your creator, content creator, that you're unsubscribing. You can say, hey, what you're expressing, I disagree with it. It does not represent my values. And drop your comment, push that unsubscribe button, and continue on with your life. But you don't need to be announcing that you're unsubscribing. We don't care. We don't pay attention to that. That little subscriber count, it fluctuates day by day by day. Do you think we are going to notice that it's you who is gone? No. So sometimes I feel like you do that to get attention or something, but maybe I'm wrong. I'm not the person who's doing that. I'm not the person who behaves that way. I'm not the person who says, I'm unfollowing you on Twitter. I'm unsubscribing from you or this and that. So I don't know the psychology behind that. But honestly, I just felt like I just wanted to point that out and talk about folks who do that because if you want to disagree with someone, do it. You're always going to disagree with someone. But your intent behind informing that, it's kind of weird to me. Like, I don't go around saying that to people. I simply don't follow them. I honestly am subscribed to maybe 5 or 6 people, and one of them is a duplicate. So technically, it's only 4 or 5 people that I'm actually sub to, and it's because I really, really would like to keep up with them all the time. And one of these persons doesn't even upload anything. So what does that tell you? But anyways, thank God your mother is doing fine. Blessings. Yes, she has been doing significantly better after her surgery. Like, it's just stuff that comes with age, So the doctor was like, as a preventive measure, how about if we get rid of some stuff that is no longer really necessary within your body? So she was like, all right, which if it helps her, then great. And I've definitely seen the difference. So it was a good decision. It was a good move. Usually, when it comes to surgeries, I kind of frown at them because I just don't know how someone's body is going to respond to an alteration. Usually, bodies tend to reject any kind of treatment, but she's doing fine. Better. Kinda conceited to feel the need to announce your departure. Just unsub and go. Uh, Wolfus is here. Cool. I just tuned in. What is going on? If you want to have an idea of what is happening, uh, Lanhart, may I suggest that you have a look at the description box, and then you can see sort of what I'm going over in this stream. And you missed the intro, but if you're wondering why I sound funny and why I keep wiping my face, yes, your girl is sick. But we're gonna keep the show rolling, all right? But yeah, that's all that I have to say on that matter. If you want to unsub from someone, if you don't want to know about them, just go. But if you just announce it, I feel like you're just asking for attention. You just want attention, and I guess as a creator, I'm giving it to you, but at the same time, you give me something to talk about. But anyways, that's really what comes to my mind. It's not really my definitive opinion, but immediately that's what I can think of, which is, I sometimes I feel like the people who threaten you with unsubscribing, they want to attempt to get you to please them in a sense, or even come out with an apology or something. And I'm like, no, I don't have to be sorry for being myself. I just don't. But anyways, moment of being stuck up is over with. Um, my next point is, which fictional world would I live in? And this is a tough question for me because honestly, all that I know about is Dragon Ball Z, Devil May Cry, Pokemon, a little bit of Yu Gi Oh! And I guess I can think of the Power Rangers as being, they are fictional characters, so their world is fictional despite resembling real life. There's the X-Men, the whole Marvel universe. There's the whole DC universe. But when I made my ultimate decision, I kept it simple. I kept it childish and cartoonish, and that is, I would love to live in the world of Pokemon. And really, it's for one lazy, silly reason. At least from seasons 1 until 5, I think that's all that I watched. Whatever happens after Pokemon Advance, that's all that I saw. But I like Pokemon because it makes me think that they're just pets, and I love pets. And at the same time, these pets have powers that you can only dream of, and they seem really convenient. Technically, they're your little animal like slaves, but I always felt like it would be cool to have a Pokemon that would help me fly. Like, I would love to not have to drive on days that I'm sneezing a lot, because a second that I close my eyes while I'm on the road, it's a second that my life can change forever. Um, but anyways, and you can train them to just respond to you, and that's cool because these creatures, some of them look terrifying, but they're not attacking you because you're able to domesticate your Pokemon. And also, I like the idea of water Pokemon, like being able to surf, and for them to say, uh, I don't know, let's take a Totodile. Him just water gunning my car for me to wash it. Just, it would be such a fast process and cost effective too, because that's water that I wouldn't need to pay for. Um, And then fire Pokemon would be cool for the winter, I guess, to keep me warm and, another cost efficient way to warm up my place. But when I think about it, fictional worlds are just tricky because Pokemon, the good thing about Pokemon is I don't recall ever seeing a character dying, um, which kind of raises some concern, like how long can these people live? But but at least it's a peaceful world. In Dragon Ball Z, we have had our planet destroyed. We have had people bombed to hell by an entity, and at least the world of Pokemon is peaceful, and the only bad thing going on is pretty much the Pokemon, what can I call that, whatever Giovanni is doing, experimental stuff. Can we even call that contraband? I don't even know. It's been a while since I actually immersed myself into Pokemon, but the kids in Pokemon always seemed cool. Like, yes, some of them are spoiled, but when it comes to bullying, I feel like it's pretty minimal. And I mean, you have a mother who allows her 10-year-old kid to leave home indefinitely by himself to pursue his dream of training these pets to do as he pleases. You have to be in a very peaceful world for you as a mother to be perfectly chill and cool with just letting your child go by themselves out there in the world and the wild. You know that you can trust the creatures that he has on his team because they're keeping him safe. But but I guess that's what makes me choose Pokemon because it's not a place that I feel like it's dangerous. So, yeah, that would be my fictional world to live in. And the second place was Dragon Ball Z, honestly, because I like the idea of me personally having powers. But just because I live in the world of Dragon Ball Z doesn't mean that I would have powers. It doesn't mean that I would be a Z fighter and I would just know how to fly and fight and transform and whatnot. So that's what makes me be a little careful about that one. And it's also a dangerous world. Um, your planet can be destroyed, and in Pokemon, that is not a concern as far as I've seen. Maybe the farther seasons, like the newer seasons, have that going on. I don't know. But at least between seasons 1 to 5 ish, that wasn't a problem. So those are the seasons I'm familiar with, and those are the ones I would choose since that's the generation I grew up with. So yeah, Pokemon it is. Um, oops, I scrolled way too far. Zerby, thank you for being a wonderful friend. I appreciate that. I am here now, so everything will be fine. I still think Zemri would be a good storm. Do you remember the time you said that? And then I was like, funny that you say that because Storm has always been my favorite mutant. And about 3 months ago, I got on Amazon and I crept on there looking for a Storm costume. And I found one, but I'm not very satisfied with the style. I wish that I could find the style uniform thing that they had for X2 United. I like that uniform. Another uniform that I like is the one from Power Rangers SPD. Of course, when they're not in Ranger form, that looked cool. It looked cool. But anyways, my costume has to have a leggings kind of texture, or else I'm not interested. Give this girl her leggings. Zamri, have you tried Pokemon Go? Of course I have tried Pokemon Go, and I even made a video about it back in 2016 when it came out. But it's not a video of me playing it, it's a video about my initial impressions. I guess if you just type Zamri Pokemon Go, you should be able to find it. But but as of lately, I know they did a massive update, and I saw some of it. My last time passively playing it was maybe April. It has to be later than that, like earlier than that. But anyways, I decided to update it because I kept hearing about the so-called raids and you catching, I think, legendary Pokemon and stuff. And I gave it a shot while I was at the gym, and it seemed cool. I never succeeded at a raid battle, but it has evolved for the better. As of lately, I haven't kept up with it, so I really do not have much of an opinion to add to that when it comes to Pokemon Go. But it was quite the addictive game when it first came out. It kept crashing like crazy. I absolutely hated that. But it was good to get me out and walk downtown and stuff. Everyone kept talking about it, so I said I had to get it. And it was good because I felt like my childhood just returned. But but like I said, video games are just not my thing anymore. I definitely cannot invest as much time on them as I used to. And it doesn't matter what console it is, if it's a mobile game, if it's PlayStation or whatever. My gaming days are just behind me. And it's a shame because now that I film, I wish that I was interested in them to like maybe get the equipment to stream some of that and you guys get to see how awesome of a player I was. But maybe in the future I may do something like that. Never say never. Um I kind of feel Zamri is my personal Pokemon in my phone. Well, perhaps if I were a Pokemon, what would you name me? Or would you keep it Zamri? And what would my type be? If you don't say I would be a psychic type, I'm going to be so disappointed. So disappointed. But seriously, let's determine that. What would my power be? Special ability ramp mode. Oh yeah, Zamri has used ramp mode. Super effective. Oh man. Which one is better, movies or video games? Had you asked this some 8 years ago, Jordan, I would have said video games. But nowadays, I like video games that have a story within them. And Japanese games usually do not let you down with that. Metal Gear Solid, of course. So honestly, what I loved the most about Metal Gear was the gameplay was excellent, but when I think about it overall, I love the cinematics in it. So sometimes I would play it just for the sake of looking at the cutscenes. Had a glitch moment there, blinked out. But yeah, I like to watch games being played more than playing them myself. Put it that way. So, if you ask me presently, I will choose movies over video games. And normally, I did not even bother with going to the movie theater for the longest time. But as of lately, I've had a good time every time I go. So, it's just a good way to relax, I guess. As adults, you just have to get your mind off things and immersing yourself on some fiction is the way to go. So yeah, I definitely would choose movies over video games now. But had you asked me at least some 8 years ago and further back, video games all the way. I'll look at your playlist on Pokemon Go to see. I first started to watch you when you gave a vid when on World Without Men. That's when I first saw you. Been watching you ever since. Wee! Yeah, that video is definitely what brought the audience that I have going on for the most part. If it wasn't that video, then it was my opinion on Serena Williams' engagement and interracial relationships. And boy, was I getting dragged in that comment section. But honestly, it wasn't that bad. It's just that my views on the matter are pretty different from what people want me to have. A specific group of people. And I get it. I don't want to act like I'm insensitive or oblivious about certain challenges, but like I have said before, I don't take life so seriously, and I just do not like to feel like I'm holding resentment in my heart or anything. I just want for people to just introspect, determine what works for them, what makes them happy, and worry about themselves. Do not obsess over what other people are doing. And when it comes to celebrities, I feel like we have such ridiculous expectations of them, and I get it. They're in a position of power, they have resources, but they're still human, they're still people, they're not perfect. So that's the topic that I have pending actually, which is, do we have high expectations of celebrities? So I am going to reserve my discussion on that for that specific topic when I get around to it. But then there were the people who saw what I was trying to say, saw where I was coming from, and I like that. It's not that I want people to constantly agree with me, because, like I always say, I know that I do not have the right answers to everything. I do not pretend that I have the solution to everything. I don't pretend to have knowledge that's even remotely resembling wisdom. I'm just here sharing my point of view, and I like to be different. If I don't see someone else talking about something already, then I like to bring it up because I think that every single thing in life is worth discussing. But honestly, some folks just take stuff a little too seriously, and I wish that people would just lighten up from that. Because I remember a time when I used to be like that. I used to be that person who, oh my God, I just took everything so literal. And once I stopped doing that, my life became better. I met more quality people, and I was just happier overall. I wasn't as stressed. So I think that's a step in the right direction. Because that worked for me, I want to share it for anybody who's possibly in the same boat as me or where I was, and then help you get out of it if that's what you want. So, yeah, I really don't mean any harm anytime I sit here and say something. I know that some opinions are going to be pretty open minded, some are going to be close minded, some are going to be very clever, some are going to be slow. I don't mind. Just sometimes I have that stupid side of me, and I love myself for it. I don't take life so seriously. Steve says, can we Netflix and chill? In this hot weather, I will definitely take the chilling. That's all I have to say. Because, wow, it's pretty toasty out here. Speaking of Netflix, I am trying to get my lady to watch Daredevil with me. How many seasons of Daredevil are there? I watched the first one, and then the second one I didn't get around to it, but it was amazing. I thought it was good. Um, was his name Matt? I think his name was Matt. But yeah, it was so cool to see him parkour his way through the city at night, and yeah, it was something different. We need a movie of Daredevil, like a standalone Daredevil movie. I know we have it on Netflix pretty much, but give us a movie. He deserves a movie. I would so go see it. Okay. And then I have one more thing. Oh, stuff that you lend and you never see coming back. Oh my goodness. Steve asked, what is a good horror movie? Any of the Conjuring movies, to tell you the truth. Maybe I don't want to say that they're overrated at this point because it's been a minute since I heard anyone talking about them. But, oops, I fell. But, yeah, I think The Conjuring has been one of the best horror movies that I have seen. And I'm not really wild about that genre. Um, like, I have not seen a whole lot of it. I remember a movie called The Army of Darkness. And I remember that it was funny, but I'm pretty sure that because it's an old movie, it probably hasn't aged well, especially in CGI department. But I just remember that it had some funny quotes in it. And I feel immense shame because I cannot remember a single quote right now. But yeah, um, shoot, what did I do? Um, but yeah, I'm not the best person to ask when it comes to horror movies. I'm full disclaimer right there. I'm not really very knowledgeable on movies, but if I were to recommend a horror movie to anyone, I would start off with The Conjuring. And then another good movie that I saw back in like 2016 was Lights Out and Don't Breathe. Don't Breathe was something else. It was extraordinary. And I even thought that the old guy in it would make a good Cable, but they ended up settling down with Josh Brolin, which was good. But something about that old guy just screamed Cable at me. Paul says, "Hello, hi, good to see you. I don't recognize you as one of my regulars here on the stream, but welcome. Good to see you." Jimmy says Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner made a Daredevil movie. It was alright. Why do I feel like I have heard of that before? I feel like I knew of Daredevil way before the Netflix stuff. I heard of it, but I've never really seen it. But, huh. It was alright. She made an Elektra sequel, which also was alright. But the Netflix series was better. Yeah, I have no recollection of ever seeing that movie at all. But if Jimmy says it was I, then it was I. We're gonna go with that. Paul says Army of Darkness is a great film. You know what? I'm going to check my local store to see if they have it on DVD, and I am going to rewatch that mug and see what it was about. Because honestly, I don't remember it. The last time I saw it was like, shoot, 15 years ago. So yeah, I don't remember it. And then is Army of Darkness the one where the guy goes like, "Buckle up, bonehead, you're going for a ride"? Or is that another movie? I can't remember. Someone out there confirm for me, please. Throw this girl a lifesaver. Thanks, I haven't seen it. Predator is out at theaters. I feel like I might go see that only because I was so grossed out by the previous ones, and I'm like, oh yes, give me some nasty stuff because I need to see something different. But Alien versus Predator, I remember seeing it, but I vaguely remember it. And then of course, the Predator movie with Mac in it, which I talked about him at a previous stream. I don't remember which one, but but I saw it. Um, yeah, that movie terrified me. It just did. It terrified me. For Daredevil, I suggest getting the 2 or 3 trade paperback comics, which were written by Frank Miller. Those are worth reading and will give you some good Daredevil stories. There is a store close by that sells comics, so I guess I can just set aside some time and go read them. Should watch They Live. Never heard of that one. I feel like I'm missing out on a horror movie. The Visit. Did you guys see it? It came out like 2 years ago. It wasn't the best horror movie ever. It got horrifying when you got the grand reveal. Like I think this director is about switching the plot and making something unexpected come, like a twist. He or she is known for plot twists like that. I forget the name of this director already, but spoiler alert, in The Visit, it's about some kids who think that they're at their real grandparents' house, but they're not. It turns out that it's not their real grandparents, and they just start doing some freaky ass shit. That's all I have to say. But I think it was a good movie because the approach of it was different. The perspective was the kids were actually vlogging their experience visiting their grandparents, and I thought that was fun. It broke away from the monotony of just seeing everything scene by scene, different shots. This was all shaky camera and everything. And something about watching stuff that has a shaky camera is intriguing because it gives it a more realistic approach. Dead Alive. I haven't seen that one either. Do you always order popcorn at the theater? Occasionally. The last time I went to the theater for The Mag, I didn't because prior to going, I had pizza. So I did not have any room in my almighty tank for that. But I usually like to get it. If I can get it, I get it. Only because movie theater popcorn kind of tastes unique. But there is a popcorn brand out there called Popcorn Indiana that they have their movie theater flavor out, and it does taste like movie theater one. The only difference is that you don't feel that it's buttery, but the taste is there. Pretty impressive. But overall, my favorite kind of popcorn is white cheddar. So because the movie theater doesn't really offer that, then I'm kind of meh about it. But also, I don't know what kind of ingredients movie theater popcorn has. It's probably not very good, but something in that popcorn doesn't sit very well with my stomach. So I tend to consume it very, very, very seldom nowadays. But but yeah, as a kid, it was a must-have. But nowadays, I'm all right without the popcorn. And the only thing that I sometimes sneak in to the um, movie theater is like half a bar of chocolate just in case I haven't had sugar in a while. I just don't want to pass out. Like I find that if I feel lightheaded and sluggish, all I need is some sugar. So that's the only time I break the rules. But other than that, I'm not wild about popcorn like that. Army of Darkness, which is part three. Did you see one and two? Honestly, I don't know which Army of Darkness I saw. I just know that it came out in the 90s or 80s, late 80s, early to mid 90s. I don't know. I don't remember anything about it. But I do remember that it was a fun movie. I can tell you that much. Bruce Campbell, the actor, played the character Ash. Yes, I remember that. Give me some sugar, baby groovy, some of the quotes in the movie. Um, it sounds familiar. Sounds familiar. You can see snippets of the movie on YouTube. Just type it in. I did that. I did that, but it's been a while since I did that. Like, I think I did that before I even had the channel. So that should give you an idea of where I'm at. All the Rio G's sneak food in. See, what I like to do is not be a G and instead stuff myself before going to the movie theater. And that way I don't have to worry about overspending at the theater. I know it's not as fun, it's just better to be watching your favorite movie or watch the show and then indulge at the same time, but I don't need that. I feel like eating is a distraction because maybe chewing may distract me and make me forget that I'm watching a movie and my attention span is affected. Like I may miss out on dialogue or something or subtle noises. I don't know. Oh boy. Okay. Army of Darkness is Evil Dead Part 3 or Part 2. I say that because there's a debate on the internet concerning Evil Dead. The Evil Dead 2 was simply a remake of the first one or a reboot, if you will. I've heard of Evil Dead, but I have not seen it. So, you guys, you gotta understand when it comes to having a conversation with me and movies, you can safely assume that I have not seen the movie in question. Unfortunate. Oh man. Bruce Campbell considers it both ways. For my understanding, you can see Army of Darkness as part 3 or in another part 2, considering the part 2 of Evil Dead again was considered to be a reboot. If Zambri had one of those predator masks, should be a female predator, she will look. She will look the part too. ah, um, the last time I wore a mask, it was a Yu-Gi-Oh mask. I was 8 years old, and the costume was purple for some reason, and I'm like, mother effer, why is it not navy? Navy is my favorite color, but purple looked alright. But yeah, I loved that mask because the expression on it was kind of like so silly. Uh, Sweet childhood memories. Halloween number 9 is coming out in October. Imagine if she had dreadlocks or something or cornrows. What if I told you that your girl used to have cornrows back in 2005, but it only lasted like 3 days because I could not, I didn't like the fact that I couldn't really scratch my head freely, and sleeping was a little bit of a different experience. And then, you know, those flyaways, I did not like that I couldn't just mend them. It felt really dry. My hair felt like it was losing life, put it that way. And I also like the sensation of my hair being a curtain. And, you know, cornrows means that they're like encrusted to your head. It was a nice experience. Honestly, I would do it again, but I think I would switch up the style a little bit. Maybe I would do like half, have this going backward or something. And on the note of dreads, there are two dready guys trying to talk me into like making my hair go all dready, and I'm like, no, because I'm used to my routine with my hair. I'm used to my image with my hair, you know? So when I think about dreads, I have heard of people having accidents with it, like um, patches of their hair end up missing, or sorry, like they end up having patches on their head because some of them fell out. And I'm so scared that that might happen to me, like where I injure the follicle and then hair stops growing. I'm too young for that. but but I've never had dreads, and honestly, it's not something that I'm saying no forever to, but I feel like it is a very what is it? It's a routine that is very delicate, and I don't have the patience for that. So also, when it comes to dreads, I like to have long hair. I cannot imagine my dreads being long. Dreads feel like they're heavy, and yeah, just it would be complicated. I don't think a sister can handle that because nobody looks good with cornrows. Um, Shoot. I'm pretty sure there has to be a picture of me with them, but to tell you the truth, there's some people who really rock them. But my memory of me having cornrows was I was indifferent, but I missed the freedom of my hair after the first 10 hours. Oh man. You're so cool as ice. Appreciate it. Can you imagine if an actual alien predator confronted Zami? F. She would just rent the predator into submission. Teasing you, Zami. Honestly, I think my first impression is what Arnold told him about being an ugly motherfucker. But I think I would chicken out at how horrible its appearance is. It's like a crab face. But I feel like if it came down to it, I'll still give the fight for my life. Hopefully I'll be properly armed, but I just I don't know. I think I need to take some self defense classes against predators and aliens. um, I remember, I don't know if I ever did this topic or if I just uh, casually discussed it in a live stream, but I was talking about my contingency plan during a zombie apocalypse. And honestly, I had no idea what I was doing. I guess the way I operate is I cross that bridge when I get there. So if the attack is not imminent right now, I'm not really planning for it. I'm not really planning a defense for it. But when it happens, it's like I will know what to do. I will become proactive and my gut will just start responding and I'll just somehow just uh defend myself and just I don't know, fake it till I make it, I guess. but but it's weird. I know that I should make plans for tragedies and all that, but I just don't think about that. I'm a bad citizen. Well, guys, I don't have anything else on my list, so the stream is pretty much just free flowing by now. But I'm about to hit my, or actually, I hit my hour mark. So I think I'm gonna call it a day because I would really love to take a shower and eat an orange because I need some vitamin C all up in this body to fight off whatever I have. And yeah, I also need to eat something because I just came home from work, took a nap, woke up, ate a snack, drank some water. But I need to drink hella more water because I can tell that I need water. So it was fun. It was so good to see all of you. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. And sorry if I don't sound so well and if my mind was all over the place, but yeah, I like to hang out with you guys. You guys are fun and funny. And especially those who just lurk in the comments. All right, guys. I'll see you soon. You guys take care.